I've been roaming around, I was looking down at all I see. The painted faces fill the places I can't reach. You know that
My name is Andrew Cabigao. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Singer-songwriter, studio owner, just an overall music person that likes to do anything in music. Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually.
someone like you and all you know and how you speak. Countless lovers under cover of the street. You know that I could use somebody.
I started it with my mentor, this guy named Mark Goodman. Won a couple of Grammys back in the 80s, recording gospel groups and things like that. And he kind of taught me kind of the older style of recording. It's kind of a analog digital hybrid is what he taught me on, if you know what that is. But if you don't, it's pretty much best of both worlds in the sense of the old kind of recording and the new kind of recording and things like that. And he taught me in that, and at one point I just decided to start my own thing. I was the president of the Memphis Songwriters Association at the time, and so I had a lot of songwriters that I saw needed recording and things like that. So I started it up, and actually ended up starting a little label. I tried at dabbling at a label. Hated the red tape; it was the worst. But started with that, and so I had like 6 artists on that label. Amber was one of them. That's actually how me and her really got to know each other. And yeah, that's pretty much how that happened.
Like me, someone like me, someone like me. Oh, I'm ready now, I'm ready now, I'm ready now, I'm ready now, I'm ready now. Oh, I've been roaming around, I was looking down at all I see.
Gotcha. So I actually started playing guitar when I was 16, but I'd played piano for 8 years. My mom made me play piano until probably should. I was probably gonna play piano for the rest of my life, to be honest. But when I turned 16, my dad gave me this talk, and he was like, "You're a man now, son." And then I was like, "Mom, I don't want to play piano." And she's like, "Well, if you're gonna stay in this house, you got to play an instrument." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll just pick up the guitar and pick up some chicks," that kind of thing. And I did. It was cool. But when I picked up the guitar, it opened something up in me that piano didn't. The guitar opened up my creativity. So as soon as I picked it up, I pretty much just started writing at that point. And after a few years of doing that and realizing that this is really bad writing, you should learn how to write this way, that kind of thing, I started playing and rewriting things, and then I played at an open mic, and then I got a gig, and then the rest is kind of history. So I didn't really start getting into production until, it's kind of like how I started singing. I'm not a natural singer. It took me forever to figure out how to sing, and only reason I did was because only reason I started singing was because when I wrote my songs, nobody else would sing them. And so it's kind of a necessity type of thing. So I learned that just so I could play out. And just like with recording and producing, I didn't really want to pay money, like that much money, to find a producer and do all of these things. And so I just started producing and recording myself Started on GarageBand, you know. But it was always funny. I didn't realize how much I was actually into recording and producing until after when I started my studio. One of my friends was just asking me, is like, "Oh yeah, have you always thought you were going to start a studio?" And I was like, "No, not really." But when I thought about it, every house that I had lived in, I made some kind of studio. Like I put, you know, soundproofing things, put the microphones in the right places, you know, try to figure out all that stuff. And it was really through necessity, but I loved the process of it. And that was one of the main things that actually drove me to start the studio. So, you know, I think that the accessibility of digital is amazing for artists, especially for the ones, you know, who back in the day, you know, you really had to shovel out a lot of money just to record and do all that kind of thing. And so, you know, the digital era of recording is really cool for up and comers, and in general, there's so much more you can actually do without buying all the really expensive equipment. So digital in terms of the modern era is awesome. However, a lot of things that, because yeah, when my studio, when I'm mixing and recording and everything is by ear, and some dials and things like that, you know, meters and things. So when I'm recording, I feel like sometimes when I'm recording on digital, my eyes deceive me sometimes. So I trust my ears more than my eyes. So it helps me a lot. And I also feel like because I'm not using one of my senses, like my eyes, my vision, that I can focus on hearing it better, you know, hear the intricacies of certain things. Especially because if you've been in my studio, the setup is kind of unorthodox. But it's because that was the way that I was raised into it. It was a way that I needed to hear things for my ear. So in terms of my studio and listening and things like that, I do have a digital setup where I can record on digitally, but I prefer not to, because I feel like one, there's more of an intimacy when you're mixing and you're just using your ears, and just the tangibility of seeing everything at once. So whenever I need something, I just gotta like look through my board or look on my tower, look through any of my things. I can just be like, that's what I need. That's what I need. I need to do this over here. And I can just move this there. You know, it's all, and laying it down for mixing is like the most fun. It's like I'm like literally in a symphony, because I don't have anything automated or anything like that. And so volume wise, you know, adding more reverb at this point and then pulling it back. And so sometimes my other engineers have to help me. And so we'll have like 4 arms going around just to get the right sound. So it's pretty cool. It's fun. My dad, he's a pianist. He still plays piano every day. Owns this beautiful grand piano in the house. He sounds great. And he's always done that. My mom sings, but just for fun. But my sister is like a real singer. She's operatically trained, did all that, like went to college, was like the a cappella director, you know, all that kind of thing. And she ended up taking the practical route and got a job and do all that stuff. But it was just kind of funny, because with all that was happening, my folks were actually pushing me to be a doctor, because they're both doctors, and we went to the Philippines every year to do medical missions. And so we would help out with the medical missions. And by the time I was like 15 or 16, I was like helping in minor procedures and things like that. And so it's kind of what I knew growing up. I'd been going to the Philippines, you know, for family things when I was like under 10. I probably went there like 2 or 3 times. And then around 11, that's when my folks started doing medical missions and things like that. And we did that every year until I was about 23. And then until I couldn't afford it anymore. And they're still doing it. And so I went there a couple years ago. I think before that 4 years ago. But when I was 19 was the first time I brought my guitar to the Philippines. And that was a nightmare, getting that guitar to the Philippines over, you know, through a plane and all that stuff. But I got it there, and you know, I started playing. I have some other musical family, and they mostly all play piano. So sometimes we would jam, and my dad, he's a pianist, and he was in a band back in when he was in med school in the Philippines. They actually got a record deal which is actually super cool. Or yeah, they got offered a record deal, I should say. But half the band, or the entire band, was in medical school, but half the band didn't want to do it because everyone was finishing, and they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna do this," because they were just doing it for fun. So my dad does have this understanding of my passion for music, which is awesome. But so I would bring my guitar there, and then my dad would show me his friends and all that stuff. We jam. I learned to play the drums in the Philippines. One of his friends just put me behind a drum set, and what song was it? I felt like it was like a "Have You Ever Seen the Rain" kind of song, and he was just like, "Just play drums. Doesn't matter how you feel, just play it." And so I started playing, and then as soon as I got home, I bought some drums, and I'm not good at drums, but I have a drum kit. So, well, so my voice is a funny thing. Like I said, I wasn't a natural singer by any means, so I had to learn, and that's another part of my life that I haven't talked about yet. The When I had a girlfriend, and we loved doing like coffee house tours, or little hip indie kids, and we did a bunch of coffee house tours. And one time we were coming back up from Florida, and she was like, "Hey, you want to go to The Voice and do an open audition?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait 3 hours and then like probably be split up from you and all that stuff." And she convinced me to do it. And the first thing that happens when we get there, they split us up. And I'm sitting in these lines, and we have to do these auditions. And long story short, I ended up getting through the auditions, and I got to the blind auditions, which is really cool. I actually didn't get to do my blind audition though because the teams got filled up. But when I did that, in that period of the blind auditions, we were there in a hotel for 3 weeks with 175 musicians, and we couldn't leave. We had to stay on the premises because they were in charge of us. And in terms of The Voice, I embarrassingly didn't think that The Voice was an instrument until I'd gotten there. Like when I got there, I see all these people, and I'm telling you, there were like 8-part harmonies and like just crazy jam sessions. And I would talk to these people, and they'd tell me like how they sing and how they do these things. And I probably had learned the most about music in those 3 weeks than I had my entire previous career. So when I figured out how to sing properly, this rasp just came out of me. And so before, when I was singing, I wasn't singing properly. And then this person just opened me up, and all of a sudden my rasp came out. And then my lyrics started changing because my rasp was kind of cool. And I was like, I'm gonna be cool and do it this way and that way. And then now that I'm comfortable with everything, I just kind of write. And, I feel like my voice, especially with the lyrics that I write, it's kind of fits all these weird regions. Because I can do like the rock, like, pushing it hard if I want to, or I have some smooth parts of my voice, but it's fun navigating my voice when I write now, because at the end of the day, I'm a songwriter, because I love writing songs. And I moved to Nashville for a couple of years and learned from this guy from NSAI, Bart Herbison, and he mentored me for a little bit, and that was really cool. But he instilled in me in these like kind of exercises and things that I had to do like every day while I was there. And now I still do them, because if I don't, my day is off. Like I'm off. It's like become part of my routine. And so I write every day for 30 minutes in the morning. I analyze certain songs that I feel like analyzing, and in the pop realm of why people listen to them, why they don't listen to them, and things like that, or why, if I didn't like it, why other people do, that sort of thing. So that's a whole roundabout way, but that is how I write with my voice. Just kind of all over the place. I own a restaurant with my brother and sister-in-law called South of Beale downtown, and now South of Beale East. So we own that, and when the pandemic hit, I needed to help cut costs and things like that. So I ended up working at the restaurant for a little while, and I still do right now. It's kind of fun. It's interesting because, I talk about music and I do music all the time, but there's this whole chunk of my life that's like this restaurant that a lot of people don't know about. But it's really cool because we get to, part of our brand and what we do is our chefs create the food. And so they kind of have free reign of what they want to cook and what they want to make, and they change their menus every 3 to 4 months. And so we have to have real cooks that know what they're doing, not just how to cook things, but also how to order things properly and make sure that money is still being made and we're not spending too much. And so that's a really hard chef to find. And then, we do a whole bunch of, local brews and spirits and things like that. So it's something that my brother created and I kind of hopped on board with. And we've been around for 11 years now. So we opened up a second location, and now we're relocating our original location just down the street into a nicer space, because we're downtown, and we've had that building for 11 years. It's a really cool building, but we could upgrade a little bit. But yeah, so during the pandemic, I've pretty much just been working at the restaurant, gigging where I can gig, recording when I can record. But it's all actually based around the restaurant right now, which is kind of interesting change of pace for me. But it's nice though. I didn't think that I would have liked it the way that it is now. If you asked me that 2 years ago, or like a year ago even, I've been like, no, that's silly. But I'm enjoying it right now. It's cool. I'm actually kind of excited because the past 6 years, I pretty much just helped other musicians with their music, especially with the studio. And I brought a couple of people under my wing in terms of just like growing their foundation as artists and figuring out, the lay of the land and things like that. That's pretty much what I've been doing for the past 6 years, or at least focused on. And, like I said earlier, I write every day. And so I have all of these songs. And so I think I'm going to start a project. I don't think I've already started a project. It's called an 87 is what the band name is going to be, or the artist name, like AN 87, as opposed to the 87. I was born in 87, and I like the idea of just being like one of a crowd. And it's going to be just this music, because as a writer, you kind of, and somebody that also like analyzes writing, especially pop, it just changes so much. And so with that, your style of writing is going to change, because you're going to find things that you're going to like. And my style has changed a lot. The song that I just played is a testament to that, because if you listen to that and then you listen to some of the stuff that I have up on Spotify or anything like that, it's completely different. So I'm excited to start a new project, just because I haven't really focused on my artistry in a long time. So I'm excited to get back to that. That's going to be a thing this year for sure. Thanks for listening, y'all. My name is Andrew Cabigao. Thank you for watching this Maine and Mulberry session. You can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. I'm on kind of all over those things. So just take a look, Andrew Cabigao. And I appreciate y'all. I literally have never winked in my life.
Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. Then it's over, so they say. It'll rain a sunny day, and I know it's shining down like water. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Yeah, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down on a sunny day. Yesterday and days before, sun is cold and rain is hard, and I know it's been that way for all my time. And forever on it goes, through the circle fast and slow, and I know it's shining down like water. Yeah, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Yeah, I wanna know, oh, have you ever seen the rain? a sunny day. Yeah, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Yeah, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Oh, coming down. Yeah, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Yeah, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day?
Did you know subscribing helps keep our content free? Click the subscribe button now.